Hey y'all, I want to talk about mindset. Whenever you have set a goal that you want to achieve, whether it be in your career, relationship-wise, fitness, health, you really need to visualize where you want to be. Visualize yourself already succeeding, because if you don't believe that you can succeed, if you don't believe that you'll ever get to your goal, then you're never going to put in the action and the effort and the energy to actually make it happen. So I want you to visualize what you want, what you will feel like, how your life will change when you are healthy, when you are fit, when you can get through a tough workout, whenever you are faced with a temptation and you're able to have that willpower to turn it down, because your goals are more important than that temporary satisfaction that comes when you cave to temptation. I want you to focus on that. I want you to focus on what it is that you're going to do to celebrate when you've achieved this goal. I have achieved a lot of goals in the last 5 or 6 years. The one I'm most proud of is my sobriety. I've been sober for 28 months, and the only way I achieved it was by focusing on one day at a time. So regardless of where you're at in your fitness journey, you can only get to where you want to be by focusing on one day at a time and putting as much effort and energy as possible and giving your 100% that day to move yourself forward. And one day you're going to move yourself a lot further forward than other days, and you're just going to have to accept that. And I really want to talk to you about the past. That yes, the past can predict, the future to a degree, but only if you allow your past to have that power. I see so many people that talk about where they are and where they want to be, but they never work towards where they want to be because they're too stuck being full of shame, full of embarrassment, and self-loathing for what didn't work in the past. Here's the thing. I tell my kids this all the time because they compare. We have an 18 and 19-year-old, 2 14-year-olds, and an almost 8-year-old. And they always say, well, that's not fair because it was this way when I was this age and you let these kids get away with it. Boy, it would have never happened. And I always tell them that life changes, circumstances change. We as parents have changed. So the way things were done with our 18 and 19-year-old are not the way we do it with our 14-year-olds from whenever they were 14. Like, lots has changed, and we have grown as parents, and our family dynamics have changed. So here's the thing is, regardless of what you think has not worked in the past, you're not living in that same time. I guarantee your circumstances are not exactly the same. So forget what didn't work in the past. If you're gonna spend any time focusing on what didn't work in the past, look at what didn't work and use that as a guideline and as a learning tool so that you avoid those same pitfalls from before. But don't beat yourself up. We've all made mistakes. I mean, I've been married 3 times. I've made a lot of mistakes. I have 3 children of my own, 2 stepkids. I have made a lot of mistakes, but that doesn't stop me from moving forward. And my fitness has had ups and downs, and I figured out what's worked and what didn't work. And I've also came to the road where things that did work stopped working. So I had to be able to try plan A, B, C, D till I found something that worked for me. And so what's worked for me is being involved with the community, having peer support, and instead of when I'm feeling down and low, pulling away from that support, but leaning in. And the one thing that has strengthened my mind so that when I encounter these pitfalls and these obstacles come in front of me, I don't feel like a failure. I don't beat myself up. I don't feel like my success has been ruined. It's because I listen and read personal development books. And this is one that I share all the time. It's The Language of Letting Go. It's helped me get over my habits of developing codependent relationships with people. But there's daily passages, and so I like to share ones that I think are relevant to the struggles that people are facing or that they might face. And so this one is about accepting ourselves, which kind of goes in line with what I was just talking about. It said, while driving one day, a woman's attention focused on the license plate of the car ahead. The license read, "Be who you are." How can I, she thought. I don't know who I am. And boy, I was that same person, and I know lots of you probably are too. Some of us have felt confused when people encourage us to be ourselves. How could we know ourselves or be who we are when for years many of us submerge ourselves in the needs of others? We do have a self. We're discovering more about ourselves daily. We're learning we're deserving of love. We're learning to accept ourselves as we are for the present moment, to accept our feelings, thoughts, flaws, wants, needs, and desires. If our thoughts or feelings are confused, we accept that too. To be who we are means we accept our past, our history exactly as it is. To be ourselves means we are entitled to our opinions and beliefs for the present moment and subject to change. We accept our limitations and our strengths. To be who we are means we accept our physical selves as well as our mental, emotional, and spiritual selves. For now, being who we are in recovery means that we take acceptance one step further. We can appreciate ourselves and history. Being who we are, loving and accepting ourselves is not a limiting attitude. Accepting and loving ourselves is how we enable growth and change. So I want you to repeat after me. Today I will be who I am, and if I am not certain of who I am, I will affirm I have the right to discover that. So I want you to focus on accepting what you can and controlling what you can, which is yourself and the way you react. Don't be led by your feelings. Don't be led by your past. Don't get caught up in that negative self-talk. I want you to focus on positive self-talk and really telling yourself that you're deserving, because if you don't think you're deserving, you're never going to put one foot in front of the other. You're never going to take that one day at a time. So I want you to focus on loving yourself. Whatever you're doing is good for you now. And when you do that day after day, you'll look back and you'll be so proud of how far you've come and the things that you have achieved. So whatever you're going for, whether it's to get in a size smaller pants, to lose 10 pounds, to be able to get through a workout without pushing, pause, to being able to love yourself when you look in the mirror, to be able to stand up for yourself in a relationship that's not serving you, whatever it is, just promise yourself that you'll make one decision each day that will move you closer to that. And you're not going to get caught up on how far you have to go, but you're going to get focused on right here, right now, and owning what you can. And that is your behavior and your mindset. Nobody else controls that unless you allow them to.